Like good. All right. Hopefully the sound is good on this. Oh man, first time back in a while. First of all, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Eric from AFNB Pictures. First off, happy belated Easter. Hope everybody had a good holiday. Also, yeah, I want to wish my boy David Johnson a happy birthday, man. Big shout out to you. Miss you and love you, brother. Now, to the nitty gritty of this evening's stream. Welcome to the desert of the real. Always wanted to say that. I know I don't sound like Lawrence Fishburne when I say it, but fuck it. Tonight we're going to talk about The Matrix and the concept of The Matrix and how, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people's opinions, the concept turned out to be better than the movies themselves. It's not necessarily shitting on the films. Personally, I feel that every Matrix movie was good in its own way. It's very different. Obviously, the first film was obviously ahead of its time, very much ahead of its time. That movie came out, 1999? I was in 8th grade. I was still in junior high when this movie came out. And I remember going to see it, and it just blew my mind. From the storyline to, at the time, like I understood a little bit of it. I really wasn't that big into like story structure and character development. I was still all about the action. So the action is what drew me in, which is what drew everybody in, because nobody had seen anything like that. I mean, the first 5 minutes of the first Matrix film, where Trinity's fighting that agent and she leaps up in the air and time stops. Everything is in fucking slow motion. I remember the air being sucked out of the audience because we had never seen anything like that. Just, oh, is this chick floating? And it goes slow and then it goes right back into the fight. Like, those fight scenes are just amazing. Shout out to Yuen Wu-Ping, who's one of the most legendary fight choreographers of all time. But later on, as you watch the films and you really understand the concept of the film itself, you know, humans living in a computer simulated world, which is a question that ever since this movie came out, a lot of people have asked themselves. We've all asked ourselves at some point, are we living in a computer simulated world? I asked myself that I don't know how many times. And I would say, if I had to give a percentage, I'm about 73% conspiracy theorist. Like, I'm not Alex Jones level, I'm not Jesse Ventura level, but there are some theories that I do take into consideration. Like, okay, maybe, just maybe. The Matrix is one of those just maybe concepts. It really is. So, first film, groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking. Matrix Reloaded comes out, 2003? Fast forward a couple years, I'm a junior in high school. We're all excited for it. The whole world's excited because we're getting a sequel to The Matrix. The first 2 hours of this movie, going into it, first 2 hours of the movie, mind-blowing, absolutely amazing. It took you right back in the, in the driver's seat. You felt like you was watching the first one again. It's like, oh, this shit takes me back. All these scenes take you back. And with the new age, at the time, new age technology that they had, it was like, all right, how they gonna make this look? The fight scenes look good. Action looked good. The story was good. Sort of. This is where, on paper, the last two movies, great. Execution-wise, not so much. First 2 hours of Matrix Reloaded was phenomenal. That last half hour, I would say probably the point where they got to the architect. Here's where shit just went haywire. Like everything just went everywhere. It's almost like the Wachowskis were just throwing shit on the wall and just seeing what stuck. Because now it's like, okay, who's this? Okay, well, now we know who he is. Okay, maybe he'll explain a little bit about. Okay, this, they're what's going on. You know, I remember the theater being so quiet, but at the same time, like we're just kind of thinking to ourselves, like, where did this come from? Like, what's going on? And then the way that it ends, like you obviously know it's setting up for a third one. Because the third one came out the same year. Revolutions came out the same year as Reloaded. So I wasn't that scared. You know, fans weren't that scared because it's like, okay, maybe the third one will sum up everything. Third one will sum up, because obviously this is the final act. So part 3 is going to sum up everything from the first one to now. No worries. November 2003 comes around. Me and my buddy go see Matrix Revolutions. Excuse me. We're hyped because we're getting all of our questions. We're going to get them answered. I still don't know if we got our questions answered. I have tried so hard to dissect what the purpose of the machine war was. Once again, great concept. Awesome concept. That ending, though. Once again, dude, that ending, though. What happened? Because, and maybe somebody can explain to me, I don't know if I'm looking at it the wrong way, but the way I gathered it is the Oracle and the Architect were playing a game with humanity. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I'm gathering. Am I wrong? And if I'm not, the whole purpose of the war was for nothing. Like it didn't answer a lot of it really didn't answer any of the questions that at least I had. You know, it really did not. Once again, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again. Great concept, bad execution. Great concept, bad execution. It's just the execution of these films were just not there. And for the life of me, I have been watching these movies over and over again, trying to fully understand. And I still don't. And I'm almost 40. I've been watching these movies since I was a kid. And I still, like, I get it. I get it on paper. I don't get its execution. So, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I'm still trying to figure out the purpose of this war. Did it end? Who won? Did Neo sacrifice himself? Did he win? Did they lose? Like, what happened? And I'm really going to throw Matrix Resurrection out of the picture, even though it's playing on my TV right now for background noise. We're going to ignore that. Fast forward to the Animatrix, which in my opinion is the strongest entry in the entire series. Any true Matrix fan, any true fan of the machine war, the whole concept, if you are a fan of the concept, you are a fan of the Animatrix, because the Animatrix answered a lot of origin questions. It didn't answer a lot of present day questions, but it definitely explained more of the films and more of the history of the humans and the machines. Mainly the Second Renaissance, part 1 and 2, which are my favorite parts in that whole series. That was so well written, so well played. That whole anthology film as a whole is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Shout out to the Wachowskis. Shout out to all the animators. Shout out to the writers that came up with that, because that was just fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, man. But Yeah, that one, that was definitely the strongest entry. Um, and from a story standpoint, it was definitely the strongest entry because you didn't leave confused. I wasn't confused at the end of the Animatrix because they were all episodes, and each episode explained itself. That's the thing. As long as your movie can explain itself good, you're fine. And I think that's one of the main problems with the Matrix series is it just didn't explain itself very well. You know, I mean, especially in the sequels. The sequels focus. I feel like the sequels focus way too much on theatrics. Like, how cool can we make Neo look? Like, how many people can we make fly up in the air in slow motion, and how many cool car crashes and all that shit? How much can we throw in here to throw everybody off of the fact that this film is not going to answer your questions? Which brings me to my next theory. These films have a mind of their own. These films are very much alive. And here's why. Every time I watch one of these movies, I see something that I miss. Every time. Like little tidbits, you know. And looking back on Matrix Revolutions, which out of the trilogy, out of the first three, is probably my favorite. It's weird to say out of the first three, that one to me, I don't know why it has the most rewatch value. That's the one maybe it's because I was just trying to understand the concept, but the more I rewatched it and the more little things that I miss, you know what I mean? Like the inner dialogue between Agent Smith and the Oracle. And I didn't notice then, you know, until like the fifth time I watched the movie that right before he takes her out, he calls her mom. Like just the little shit like that, man. It's just these movies are good and bad. They're very good and bad. They're very hot and cold. So it's hard to say, like asking somebody, did you like the Matrix trilogy? Did you not like it? Some people will say yes. Some people will say no. Some people will say they loved it. Some people will say they hate it. I don't know how I feel about the trilogy. I don't know how I feel about it, other than the concept, which I love. I don't know how I truly feel about the films themselves. I mean, if you ask me of a specific thing, well, Eric, how did you like the action? I absolutely love the action in every one. How'd you like the acting? The acting was decent, and you know, for the most part, in every one of them. Okay, so how do you feel about it as a whole? I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you because I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, these films will live on through history from generation to generation from now. People are still going to be talking about this. Once again, rewatch value, man. Parents are going to show their kids The Matrix. I mean, it was the Star Wars of our time. You know, Matrix came before Lord of the Rings, which a lot of people consider the true Star Wars predecessor, that being the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But for us, it was still The Matrix. Now, the Lord of the Rings was a stronger trilogy, but the Matrix, that came first. Movie wise, technically, Lord of the Rings came first because Tolkien, I mean, that shit goes way back, bro. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be doing a lot of thinking, because I'm still, this series has been going on for decades, and I'm still wrapping my mind around it, wrapping my head around it, trying to get it, trying to understand it. And I feel like that's the beauty of a lot of sci-fi films. Sci-fi movies make you think, especially when it comes to anything involving machines, artificial intelligence, time travel, which is why movies like Matrix, the Terminator series, people will be talking about these movies for generations. Probably still trying to understand what the fuck they're about. Terminator's another one of them. It's those series where it's like, okay, was it over? I guess not, because they're doing another one. And back to the Matrix, Resurrections kind of proved that, because I went to see that and I had more questions, which weren't answered. How is Neo back? Why does him and Trinity not know each other? I mean, maybe it's because I really wasn't that invested when I first went to see it. You know, it was a birthday gift. I went to see it. My mom took me to see it on my birthday. But I was just happy to see Keanu Reeves, Carrie Ann Moss back is two of their most popular characters that they've ever played. Cool. But at the same time, we all know why the movie came out. I mean, this was basically just a ploy to help Keanu Reeves promote John Wick 4, which is the Matrix Resurrection was the appetizer. John Wick 4 was like, okay, that's what we waiting on. Because even at the end of the movie, I'm like, all right, that's cool. That was good. It goes to show he still got it. When's John Wick coming out? We didn't talk about no Matrix 4. Like, I really didn't. You know, if anything, it was a reboot. Matrix 4 was a reboot disguised as a sequel. And they was slick with it. They was real slick with it. It was a reboot disguised as a sequel, because they damn near rebooted the entire first three films. And once again, I may be looking at this shit wrong. I may be looking at it wrong, because halfway through the movie, I kind of stopped paying attention, because 30 minutes in, I was already confused as to why all these characters were back. How they were back, I was like, all right, man, just okay. You're obviously not gonna help me with this. Just cut to the action, because that's all I want to see. Just let me see that. All right, cool, man. Neo still got it. Awesome. Roll credits. I'm out. But yeah, man, it's so hard to really dissect the films. It's so hard, man. It really is. And I don't even think the Wachowskis ever gave a full-on explanation or anything about, okay, what's really going down here. And I'm a Wachowski fan. I am. But they're not, once again, they're not good. They're not bad. They exist, obviously. Like I said, it's almost like these films are just, they're living. And they will continue to live from generation to generation. They will continue. And I know that I'm rambling, and it's because every time I talk about this series, I really was very hesitant to bring this up. But once again, like I told you, I was watching the Animatrix, and I'm like, okay, I gotta talk about this. I'm gonna try. I'm really gonna try, because I've had so many conversations with people about their theories on this, and every time I talk to people about it, it goes outside of the movie, and we just focus on the concept, because that's really the best thing about this series is the concept of the film. That idea that we could be living in a computer simulated world. I love that. I love that concept. I've always loved the whole thought of, artificial intelligence and the time travel theories, and are we living in another dimension, or is there a multiverse? And that little, once again, it's the rabbit hole theory, man. Even Morpheus said it, man. Let's take a ride. Let's dig deeper into the rabbit hole. We are still in the rabbit hole, digging around, trying to figure it out. And I feel like that's our lives. In a very strange way, that is our lives, because do any of us really know our true purpose on this planet? Some of us have an idea. We have an idea as to what our purpose is on this planet. Do you know what your purpose is? I don't. I'd like to think I have an idea. It's a lot of light. Man, it's a lot of light. I'm gonna a little bit. Whew. Start sweating up in here. Shit. But a lot of us are just kind of fapping our way through life, just trying to figure out either A, where we belong, what our purpose is, what is our destiny, which is something that we're all responsible for. We're all responsible for our own destiny, but why are we here? And it goes beyond what you want to do. It's not about a career thing. I mean, obviously, if you're over the age of 25 and you don't know what you want to do, you better figure it out quick. Figure it out quick, man. Like real talk, man. Figure that shit out. Serious. Hey, this light is annoying the shit out of me. But, all right, that's just gonna have to do. But yeah, why are we here? Like, why are we existing? I know these sound like stoner questions, but they're questions that we've all asked ourselves. And that's another thing that I truly do love about The Matrix, because if you don't understand like the full story, there are themes to the movie. Like the main theme is obviously Neo trying to figure out who he is. The first film executed that so perfectly. This is a guy, a computer hacker, trying to figure out, okay, why do I keep having these dreams? Why do I keep getting these encrypted messages? Why am I here? Why am I existing right now? We've all asked ourselves that. We've all had feelings of deja vu. You do something that's like, I literally just did this yesterday. Same time, same motion, damn near same outfit. You're just repeating your daily mundane activities. Monday through Friday, what do? We wake up at 6 o'clock, maybe earlier, go to work at 7 or 8, work our 8 hours, come home. We got a couple hours of freedom. We got to go back to bed so we can get up and do it again. And the next day, we got to get up and do it again and again and again. Oh, in the weekends here. Great. Guess what goes by real fast? Saturday and fucking Sunday. And now you're right back to Monday. You're right back to doing it over again and over again and over again. That gets boring, obviously. But once again, you're going to find yourself asking that question almost every other day. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I feel that The Matrix really makes us ask that question more and more. Especially like even after you watch it, at least for me, after I watch it, I ask myself that all the time. Okay, could this be a real thing? Honestly. I know people have their theories on, well, artificial intelligence will never get that bad. It'll never get that bad to where it'll take over us. My folks always told me never say never. I'm not saying there's going to be some great war with humans and machines, but it's just, you don't know. The last couple videos ago, I was talking about the possibilities of the purge, which is highly unlikely, but it's not 0%. 2% is still not zero. So a 3% chance that we're living in a computer simulated world is 3%, but it's not zero. Which means, hey, maybe, just maybe. A lot of folks don't want to say that out loud because it makes them sound crazy. And nobody likes being called crazy. Nobody. Which personally I feel is one of the most disrespectful things you can call somebody. It's like, oh man, you crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't say that. Don't say that about a person, especially if somebody is 100%, if somebody's convinced that they really saw something. Like, let's say you run into somebody and they swear up and down that they saw a child walk on a wall, crawl up the wall. They swear to God up and down they saw their kid crawling up the wall. They swear it on their life. I saw it. I saw that kid crawling up the wall. I saw it. They are convinced. You are not going to convince them otherwise. You done tested them. They ain't been taking no shit. They ain't on no drugs, nothing. They are sober as an ox. Wouldn't you want to kind of take that into consideration? I'm not saying necessarily believe them, but just take it into consideration. If somebody is that convinced that they saw something, there might be some truth into it. Man comes up to me in a cold sweat saying, I had a dream that I was being unplugged from a computer simulation and I woke up in a pod. And I swear to God, it felt so real. Something is coming. Something is coming. Like, dude, this is really weighing on you. You saw something. You obviously saw something. So to call somebody crazy, that it takes a lot. Like, serious. Like, people are real quick to call people crazy. It's because it's an easy thing to say. Oh, you crazy. You stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You a conspiracy theorist. You've been watching too many sci-fi movies. You've been watching too many Oliver Stone movies. You don't know what you're talking about. Do they not know what they're talking about? Or is it just something that you don't want to listen to because you probably heard it before and you probably have some thoughts like it yourself? But unlike you, they're not going to just bottle up those thoughts. Hence the whistleblowers. Why do you think they're called whistleblowers? Because we're led to believe that these people don't know what they're talking about. We're led to believe that these people are crazy. Now, as funny as the whole Alex Jones frog thing is, I've listened to the man speak. I have. Is he nuttier than cat shit? Yeah. He'll out there. Am I going to call him crazy? No. Here's why. Almost every single conspiracy theory is based off of some kind of fact. I'll just leave it at that. It's based off of some kind of fact. Conspiracy theories about the Matrix. Conspiracy theories about Bohemian Grove. Conspiracy theories about the Bermuda Triangle, the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot. All of these theories are based off of some kind of fact. Somebody saw something. And what started as the origin story became something much bigger. It just got out of proportion. It's like a rumor. You know how you spread a rumor, you tell the story your way, and then you see how the story ends up when it gets to the last person. I just spread a rumor that I want $1 million and I'm moving to Mexico. By the time it gets to the last person, so many add-ons could be to this story. What started as Eric won $1 million and he went to Mexico. The story is going to end with Eric won $1 million. He built a DeLorean. He went to Mexico. He changed his name to Hector Juan, and he's an illegal street racer, and he sells cocaine. I don't know where that came from, but okay. Once again, all these dumbass theories are based off of the fact. They started somewhere. So to say there's a 0% chance of something happening, there's a 0% chance of something being true, ain't no such thing as 0%. 0%? The only two 0% are your chances of avoiding A, death, and B, taxes. Those are the two guarantees in this world. Death and taxes. You ain't avoiding none of them. Those are only 0% that you got. Other than that, everything else is up. It's up for grabs, man. It's a free-for-all. So believe it, don't believe it. Believe it or don't believe it. It's up to you. Kind of like the concept of red pill, blue pill. Red pill, blue pill. See, That's another thing about the series is just it's become such an inspiration for how we live our lives. What's this whole red pill theory going on? You know, the whole MGTOW thing, which is still a thing. I mean, I remember watching a lot of videos on those. And the first thing that came to mind that really caught my attention was the red pill theory. What's the red pill theory in the Matrix? Wake up. Wake up. That's the whole theme. That's like one of the top themes of the Matrix trilogy. Wake up. Stay woke. This is where we get the term woke from, which people like look up the true term for woke. It's not what Hollywood makes it out to be. Like, oh, we got another woke movie. That's not woke. That's not woke. Google search woke. It's another urban term that's been Caucasianized into something else. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Like, that's not what woke means, man. And this is coming from somebody that's too damn old to be saying the word. I'm 38 years old. Why am I saying woke anyway? I'm using it as an example. That's kid shit, man. But yeah, blue pill, red pill, blue pill. Take the blue pill. Stay in La La Land. Take the red pill. Wake up. You know? That's the whole concept. Just wake up. Wake up from the dream world. 0%? I don't think so. Definitely don't think so. There's 0% chance of a computer world that we're living in. There is 0%. That's like there's 0% chance that there's intelligent life out there. There's not a 0% chance. You just haven't seen it. You just ain't seen it, man. Just because you don't see it, don't mean it's there. Sometimes it's what you don't see. Sometimes that's what it's about. I mean, hell, I'd take that aspect into any movie that I make, which majority of my projects is horror films. Sometimes it's not always about what you see, it's what you don't see. What's up, viewers? Whoever's checking this out. Welcome to my ramble session on Matrix theories and somehow jumped into conspiracy theories. I'm going to be jumping on topics a lot. Like, I do this a lot with my streams. I never stay on one topic. It's hard to. Like, I really don't know how to do that. I mean, I wish I did, but that would require me writing things out, and I really don't script a lot of stuff. I just kind of wing it. I actually remember having every Matrix movie on DVD. Like, I remember I was a super fan, but I think it was more of a super fan once again of the action, like just the style of the movies. Like, that's why I had them all in my collection. Same with Star Wars. Like, I was a big saga collector. I was a big saga collector growing up. I had all the Star Wars films. I had all the Pirates films. I still have the Lord of the Rings films. I will never get rid of those. That is the one series I will never get rid of. It's crazy because I almost put that series over Star Wars. I really do. I mean, I love the Lord of the Rings. And in a very strange way, I put that and the Matrix neck and neck. Is just series that is kooky, is as kooky as the Matrix is all over the place as it is. Man, they still have rewatch value, man. It's guilty, man. Guilty as charged, bro. They still have rewatch value. And I still leave the same way. I still turn it off the same way. Confused as hell. Just super confused. But I'm happily confused. I feel like, I think I've finally come up with a theory of how we should see these movies. These movies are happily confusing. They're pleasantly confusing. And I feel like they're supposed to be confusing. I really do feel that way. I feel like we're really not meant to understand. That's why I call this a living saga. These are living films. They're open books. Some reason we just can't read them. But we love them. We still go back and watch them. Like, oh, look how crazy that is. Look how stupid that is. But we're still having a good time. Still having a good time watching these series. You know? And thanks to HBO Max, I have every one of them at my disposal. So cool.